On pole for heat number 1 for the round of Spain would be Luka Obrovac in the 3 car. One of our best drivers in points thus far in the year. He's already won a heat race and obviously trying to repeat that today. Matthew Stringer in the 87 would be on his outside. As we go into turn 2, TJ Dent gets to the inside of Luka Obrovac to try and make the pass. Luka is able to sweep back up high to retake the lead. Coming down into turn 7, Luka Obrovac would vastly overestimate the speed he could take the turn at, and would slap the wall. We'll be seeing a lot of drivers do that in both the heats and the feature, as Kyle Sosnowski uses the opportunity to take the lead. As the cars come up the hill and pass the start-finish line to end lap 2, Matthew Stringer would drop to the inside of Kyle Sosnowski, coming down into the flat-out turn 1, and he would easily take the lead with some help from Alex Allen, as both Kyle Sosnowski and Luka Obrovac are starting to fall through the field. Turn 2, however, they're on the outside, and they're able to get a nice run through Kyle Sosnowski right along the wall there. That's the fastest line through that corner. As Alex Allen now tries to get by Matthew Stringer, who's holding the outside to protect it, will continue with it for now. All 3 drivers in the top 3 would slap the wall coming through turn number 7, and Luke Walker and Jeffrey Fingai are using this opportunity to slice and dice their way through a top 5 to perhaps even battle Matthew Stringer for the lead. Coming through, yes they do, coming through turn 9 and up the hill. They're getting around on the outside to try and overtake. Impressive by those cars. As well, this track isn't acting like much of a road course right now. Three two-lane, 2-car groups there battling it out for position, as Luke Walker actually is able to take the lead on the outside down into turn 1. After Luke Walker hit the wall, Dakota Honaker would drive around the outside of him down into turn 8 and would take the lead off of the corner with a nice run. Jeffrey Fingai up into the top 3 now, as the field continues to battle 1 and 2 wide. And a lot of this racing is just caused by drivers overestimating their speed coming down into turn 7. They really need to be a little bit more careful through there, or else they could pick up some damage. I'm sure a lot of the teams are going to have to do some work on the right side of their cars after the race. Dakota Honaker would actually make it a clean run through turn 7. Jeffrey Fingai would try to freight train him along the bottom, but the outside was too strong. Dakota Honaker stays in the lead for now, as we're already approaching the final laps of this heat race. This course is very long, 3.56 miles in length, and therefore the heat races are only 9 laps long. Coming down the long back straightaway, TJ Dent would get a run up on Dakota Honaker, would overestimate his speed, would slide back down into Dakota Honaker. They made some contact there. TJ Dent nearly spun his car out, slid back on track, nearly taking out a few cars there. They're checking up a lot of the cars there. Jeffrey Fingai, very slow, causing a big stack of 3 and 4 wide racing. Coming down turn 9, Kyle Sosnowski sweeps into the lead. Down the front straightaway, Dakota Honaker and Scott Batista would get to the inside of Kyle Sosnowski in the 7. Dakota, I'm sure, wanted Scott Batista to go with him, but Scott had his own plans, as Scott's going to take the lead as we have just a couple of laps to go now. Coming through turn 7, Kyle Sosnowski, we get a very nice turn. Dakota Honaker and Scott Batista both slap the wall, and with some help from TJ Dent, they would sweep around the inside of both of them. Kyle Sosnowski is going to lead the field to just 2 laps to go. As we come down through the S's, Skylar Dixon has made his way up into the top 3. Oh, he gets turned by TJ Dent. He's around right in front of the field. Watch out, Richard Trelinsky. Oh, man, Richard Trelinsky hits him hard. Spencer Fullerton, has nowhere to go. Tries to swerve to avoid, but isn't able to predict where that car is going to go, and Skylar Dixon is sent upside down. Spencer Fullerton also went for a spin himself after contact with Mark Nutt, and after seeing the crash up ahead, he tried figuring out where Skylar Dixon was going to go. That car was spinning everywhere, and Spencer just didn't have anywhere to go. Richard Tolinsky and Skylar Dixon would immediately retire from the race. Spencer Fullerton would retire under caution. Kyle Sosnowski was able to get through turn 7 cleanly, and coming up to the start-finish line to get the yellow and white flags. Kyle Sosnowski is going to come down to lead the race at the time of the caution and win the race. So Kyle Sosnowski, your race winner. He wins his first heat race of the year and overall. Scott Batista in the 91, a nice run for him, picks up 8 points. Jeffrey Fingai in the 20 finishes 3rd in the 20. Dakota Honecker is 4th in the 24, and Luke Walker in the 100 would round out the top 5. Heat 2's pole sitter would be Chris Washer in the 5. He's already won 3 heat races thus far in the season, going for his 4th today. William Nicholson in the 56 would be on his outside. Down into turn 1, things would be relatively even. And because of this into turn 2, William Nicholson would be able to get a nice run going on the outside, although Chris Washer is using quite a bit of the track as well. And coming down through the S's, looks like William Nicholson's going to have the advantage. Here's a neat field flyby as the field comes down to complete lap 1. Ilya Bondarenko got to the inside of William Nicholson there as the field continues to race into turn 1. They were actually 4 wide for a second there on the front straightaway. That was very close to an accident, but luckily they sorted things out and we're back to relatively calm 2 wide racing. Front straightaway is proving a nice, easy way to make a pass as Sawyer Girl gets to the inside of Ilya Bondarenko to complete the pass, then gets shoved up to the outside by Carlin Dumy, and I'm sure he didn't mind that too much, though, as he gets a nice run on the outside. Carlin Dumy actually staying with him there on the inside there, which is actually hard to do there, as Andreas Allen is nearly shoved off track in the 39. Down into turn 7, Carlin Dumian would take the lead. Alex Tanker into second, but they would both hit the wall pretty hard. Sawyer Girl would also hit the wall, and Ilya Bondarenko coming around the outside to retake second, perhaps even first. It doesn't look like first though. He doesn't have a lot of drafting help, but he works his way back up into second place. Ilya, not content with running second, obviously, gets underneath Carlin Dumian into turn 1. William Nicholson forced up into the 3rd line there. We haven't really seen that happen a terribly large amount of times so far in these heat races, as Terrence Day is back up into second. Terrence Day doing very well in these heat races as of recently. Coming through the S's, who's going to lead on the way out? Ilya and Terrence nearly make some contact on the way out there. It looks like Ilya's going to hang on for now. Down into turn 7, Terrence Day would slide up into the wall, as would Andreas Allen. He would get into the back end of Terrence Day, turning him down into the path of James O'Shea. Both of these drivers, particularly James O'Shea, though, would take a hard hit in that inside wall. Miraculously, though, both of these drivers would continue. The caution, however, would be out. Ilya Bondarenko would lead the field back to the restart with just 3 laps to go now. Not a lot of time to get anything done for these drivers. I can't imagine they'd be too patient. They keep it single file for now, other than a few cars. Johnny Fingai shoves Andreas out to the outside. Not a good idea. Andreas is going to move back into 3rd. Alex Tanker thought about diving it on in there, and Ilya Bondarenko makes the right decision by checking up. Ilya Bondarenko hits the wall and nearly actually comes down across Alex Tanker's bumper. Alex Tanker, however, sweeps around the outside back into the lead. Down the front straightaway, Johnny Fingai would get a nice run up on Alex Tanker, would just blow by him. Alex Tanker with no immediate drafting help, he's going to get freight trained. He's going to have a hard time making his way back to the front in these final couple of laps. At the white flag, Johnny Fingai still in the lead. Johnny Appleseed, though, coming up the inside. He forced Ilya Bondarenko up the track. Ilya tried to defend his position, but Johnny's bumper was already there. Johnny now coming to try and pass Johnny Finguy. Johnny Finguy shoves Appleseed up the track there. Appleseed still there as they come through the S's. Appleseed with a nice run along the bottom of the track. He's going to take the lead. Down into turn 7, both of the Johnnies would slap the wall. Appleseed, though, with a hard hit. Look at Michael Caine coming up through trying to come up through the middle of these guys. We've got one corner to go. Johnny, all of the top 3 going for their first ever wins. Michael Caine drops to the inside, off of the final corner. Who's going to win it as we come up towards the line? Up the hill we go. Johnny Finguy trying to make it 3 wide. Coming to the line, side by side, Johnny Appleseed, Michael Caine. Johnny Appleseed is going to get his first career win. Michael Caine in the 75, I think this is the 3rd time he's finished second in a heat race thus far in the year. Hasn't, as I think I've said numerous times before, he just hasn't gotten anything in the features. William Nicholson would come across the line in 3rd. Johnny Finguy in the 42 would be in 4th place, and Pichu London would round out the top 5 in the 007.